Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Second Star to the Left. I'm Michelle, and this is my daughter, Billy.
Hi.
And here's where we'll share board game reviews, ramblings, and a few wrong turns along the scenic route. Today we're back to our series, Would We Still Buy That? Which is where we take a look at games that are in our collection that we bought a while back and decide, would we still buy that?
Oh, that's why it's called that.
Yes, that's why it's called that. It's not really would we still play that or should we cull that. That's a whole different thing. But if these games were new, if we saw them on the shelf now, would we still buy them, knowing what we know and how our tastes have changed? So,
yeah, parallel timeline where these games didn't exist up until now.
No, I mean, they could have existed, right?
But we never
we
played
didn't
them.
hear of them or hadn't decided to buy them yet.
Yeah.
Work with us. It's something like that. We don't own these for some reason.
Probably time travel.
I don't think it's time travel.
It was a Terminator.
The first one is a game that we actually didn't buy for a while. A game that, even though we're a 2-player primary gaming group, and even though people recommended it to us over and over and over again, we didn't buy. Mostly because I'm stubborn, which Billy can confirm.
I still haven't gotten her to watch Kiki's Delivery Service.
No, because I'm not going to. Just send all those messages right to Billy. But that game is Jaipur. First of all, this is the newer version of this game where they updated the art. I don't actually find either versions of the art all that appealing.
I don't think I've seen the old version.
It's plainer, like a plainer green box. I actually prefer it to this art.
Why?
Why? Because it's not cute enough to be cute, and it's not artsy enough to be artsy. It lands somewhere in the middle, and it just kind of falls flat. There's nothing particularly wrong with it. Some people don't like beige games. Some people don't like cute games. I don't like games that can't make up their mind. And I feel like that's this one for me. So that's the reason why we didn't buy it at first. However, I am always going to be willing to try a game that people that I really respect think is a great 2-player game. That's this one. Nothing about the description on the box was going to get me to buy it at the time. It just says, Jaipur is a subtle, simple, and swift tactical game by Sebastian Pochon. Okay. And the art on the cards, I mean, there's camels. There are camels and some more camels and then a couple more camels, but the art on the cards is kind of generic. At the time, we didn't know that we loved Sebastian Pochon, who also did Botnik. Just go on and check out that video and then listen to me bang that drum all day long, because if you haven't tried Botnik, you really need to if you're a 2-player gaming group. I don't know why I keep saying 2 players. If
you're 2 people.
If you primarily play at 2 players, go check out Botnik. So we took a long time to get here.
I think you might have given away your answer already.
Do you? Do you even know my answer?
I don't, but it feels like maybe you're leaning one way.
The thing is, this game is super easy to teach. It's really easy to learn, and it's smart, and it's fast, and it's fun. So, do we like this game?
Yes.
Billy, why do you like this game?
Because we have played how many times?
Dozens.
I have never lost at this game. Not once.
Not even once. I never win this game. And yet, I still like it and I still recommend it. So that says a lot about the game.
That's really saying something.
If we were where we are now, which means, by the way, we already bought Botnik.
I suppose.
I already know who Sebastian Pochon is.
I suppose.
I already know who Space Cowboys is.
Suppose.
Then the question for me of would we still buy this is yes, because I would have leaned on the advice of people that I respect. I would have looked at that designer and that publisher and also been swayed by that. it wouldn't have been an impulse buy. I wouldn't have looked at this box sitting on a counter somewhere and said, ooh, I need to bring this game home with me. But had I looked it up, and I do now look it up, and seen who published it, who designed it, and listened to the recommendations of everyone who's played it, I definitely would buy this now. Would you buy this now? If this was in a store and I said, hey, Billy, I want to buy this market game with camels.
Nope.
No. You would pass this one right on by.
I would. Which would be a mistake, but...
It would.
I would.
There's a really good implementation of this on Board Game Arena. So if you want to jump on BGA and play with us, the information is down below. It's really worth trying out. And you might be convinced that you need to have a copy too. Because it's also small and you can travel with it. So I would buy it and you wouldn't. You're allowed to say you wouldn't buy it because it doesn't look like a game that would buy it.
Yeah.
You're not the one that usually digs into the
mechanics
designers.
Aren't even something that would, I think, normally appeal to me if I was just hearing about them, but it's a really fun game.
Right, because what are you doing? You're going to take some cards and collect a set and put them down so you can take some chips. It doesn't sound like there's a lot of game there, but there really is, and it's super fun. So the next game is one that I didn't actually buy. It was a birthday present. So the question is, would I ever buy that? That one is an older game and one that we haven't played so much recently, right?
I think it's been a couple of years.
Yeah. And that game is Scoville by Ed Marriott and published by Tasty Minstrel Games. Scoville is a game of growing peppers. And I remember when we first saw this, that the reason that I wanted it, ooh, nice box fart, is that magic. The reason that I wanted it is that the components were amazing. They're really well done. And you have all these little colored peppers that you're going to put, that you're going to sit into your field, and they sit right into the board if you can do it. I don't.
Having trouble with the preschool puzzle?
I am.
Which shape goes in which hole?
They're all the same shape. You're going to arrange all of your peppers on a board to create recipes, and your farmers will walk through and they will pick them up. It's kind of a color mixing farming game with an auction mechanic. It was one of the earlier games that we had. We probably only had like a dozen games when we got this game.
If that.
Yeah, it was early on. And it's a good game. We haven't played it in a couple of years though. So if I were to look at these components now, this nice little cutout board and my peppers that fit in if I can make the shapes go. If I were to look at that and read that it had an auction mechanic and that I was kind of fulfilling orders for the market, trying to grow the hottest peppers and come up with the hottest combinations of peppers, would I buy the game now? Would you play it now? If I said, do you want to play Scoville tonight? Do you want to play Scoville?
Yeah, I'd play it.
Okay.
You didn't expect that, did you?
No, I didn't. Would you buy it now?
Yes, probably, because I like the puzzliness of the combining colors with the rows and columns.
Yeah.
I think that would appeal to me.
Yeah, I think
because it does right now.
It does right now. I think this would be a kind of on the fence for me. This might be the kind of game that I had to think about for a while. Put it in the cart, see if anything newer or shinier came along.
And then I, being the good influence that I am, would push you into buying it.
And then Billy would make me buy it. I am really happy that we have it. And there's a reason that even when we haven't played it in a really long time, it has stayed in the collection. This isn't a difficult game.
No.
At all. But it's not so simple that you tire of it quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Or as far as we remember. The answer on this one is Billy is a definite yes, and I'm a maybe, probably pushed over the edge into yes.
By a very good influence.
By a very good influence. Our last game is also one of our older ones. It is also one that was a gift, so I did not ever buy this game. It is one that was on a wish list, so I did kind of pick it out. And that is Five Tribes. Five Tribes is a game that I first saw on one of Shut Up and Sit Down's earliest videos. It was like way back there, and decided that we needed to have, so I put it on a wish list. Five Tribes has a Mancala mechanism, so it's kind of worker placement, but you're displacing the workers. You're moving them throughout the board. When you do this, each color of workers has a special power. You're going to score points by earning palaces and palm trees. And every time you're going around, it's getting harder to make a decision because more meeples are coming off the board. So you have to find your path around the board. This is a game that definitely creates a lot of analysis paralysis. If you're going to be sitting there the whole time trying to figure out where you want to go. And once you get it figured out, someone is going to take their turn and mess up that path so you can't do it. So you have to be thinking right in the moment all the time. Planning ahead doesn't always work. It is incredibly pretty on the table, and it changes all the time because the cards get put out in different order, because the meeples get laid out in different order. It is never the same game twice. I managed to play this solo a couple times in the last year, and even solo, yeah. See, you don't play, I play alone. You miss out on all the good games. Even solo, I really enjoyed this game. That said, this isn't a theme that necessarily appeals to me. I don't know if it appeals to you.
Kind of, yeah, actually.
The Arabian Nights kind of.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. I don't dislike the theme, but it's not something that I would jump on right away. What did you even remember playing this game?
I do. I'm saving mine for when I'm saving my answers for when I answer.
Oh, that's very useful.
You're welcome.
All right, so since you're saving your answers for when you answer, would you buy this game now?
Yes.
Are there games that you wouldn't buy now? Well, yeah, Jaipur.
but here's the thing. I don't think I'd play this now. I'm not sure I'm a fan of this game mechanically. I don't know.
So let me get this straight. You would buy this game now, knowing that you would not play this game now.
Well,
this explains
I wouldn't know in the
pile behind me.
In the hypothetical, I wouldn't know that I wouldn't play it.
But you might suspect.
I don't know.
You need to do some deep soul searching here. Okay, so you think you would buy it but not play it, which seems like the most unreasonable thing you have said this whole day.
But completely realistic.
Yeah, that's true. I have a lot of games that you decided you didn't want to play after we bought them.
Well, no, I would play it a couple times like I did, and then decide maybe not the game for me.
Okay, so I said with Scoville, would you play this right now?
And yeah, I'd give
and you said yes.
Try.
If I said, do you want to play Five Tribes right now? Do you want to play this?
No.
Well, see, I would play this right now. And I really enjoyed it solo. I think I forgot how much I enjoyed this game until I played it solo. So I would play it. And not only that, I would badger you into playing it. And then you would remember. So you would.
So you think I just don't remember it well enough?
Yes.
Okay.
Clearly you are mistaken. So you would buy it. I would buy this one. So that leaves me at 3 for 3 this time, which is why our collection never gets any smaller. So I would buy Five Tribes, not based on this art, but instead based on this, right? Based on what it looks like on the table and how it plays. Because honestly, the rest of the art doesn't figure quite that much into it.
See, I think the other art is what would get me to play the game, to try it. But I think that stuff on the back of the box, it didn't look as fun to me. It looked crowded and cluttered.
But look at those beautiful pictures of it. Where did we land here? So you're still going to buy a game that you don't like and you're not going to play?
Well, I don't know that I'm not going to play it.
So you'll buy any game?
No, because I wouldn't buy Jaipur.
You wouldn't buy Jaipur, which is a game that you like.
I love that game.
To recap, I would buy Jaipur, despite the art and the theme, because mechanically I think it's a really good game, and I like the designer and the publisher. You would not buy Jaipur because you wouldn't have looked up any of that stuff.
No.
And you just would have said no.
Yeah.
Okay. Scoville, you would buy.
Because it looks nice and puzzly.
I'd be on the fence and probably buy. And then Five Tribes, we would both buy, but you wouldn't play.
I would play once or twice.
Okay, so we're going to have a long talk about how we decide what games to buy. But that brings up another point, though. Do you think it's worth it to buy a game that you're only going to play once or twice? If that game is, let's say, between $30 and $50, which a lot of games are, right? Do you think that's worth it to play? What do you
I
think?
suppose it depends on like how big of a game it is. Not physically, but like if it takes a long time to play, then I think one play would be you'd be getting worth out of it.
Well, like a campaign game, which you would play a lot of times, that would definitely be worth it.
Yeah,
But I'm talking a game like Five Tribes. So if you buy a game for roughly $50, like let's say Five Tribes here, and someone's not planning on playing it a lot, how many times do you need to play it before you get your money's worth out of it? Do you think playing it once is enough, or once or twice? In my mind, it's entertainment. So I'm willing to buy a game if we're going to play it a couple of times. Because if a movie ticket costs $15, then it seems that entertainment has value. And I think board game entertainment has value. So even though Billy said she would buy it and only play it once or twice, I still think that might be worth it. What do you think? Is it okay to play a game once or twice and then decide to move on? I mean, maybe you sell it or maybe you give it away afterwards. I don't like to buy a game, have play it once or twice, and have it sit on my shelf.
I do. I like shelf games.
I know you like shelf games, but that's for a different episode. Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you have any of these games? Would you still buy them today, knowing what you know? Would you buy it knowing that you could play it on VGA? Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see,
or if you want to keep watching until we get one right,
then please like, subscribe, and share. If you want to follow us elsewhere on social media, all that information will be down below. As always, open tables, open minds, and play yourselves.
bye!
Which Billy is now concerned that we are not pronouncing correctly, so I'm not going to say it a lot.
I don't remember what.
You know what? This is making me crazy, so while I have it paused, I'm going to do it. It's driving me nuts.
Oh, no, wait, but the instructions are upside down.
I hate it so much. Okay, better now. Oh, yeah.
And that goes backwards.
Is it really?
No.
Why do you do that to me?
You look so smart.